Well, wouldn't you know? It be yet another episode of Portland's podcast. Excellent. Take it away, lad.
And once again, here we are. You know where we are. Once again, we are in the podcast studio at the Portland Media Center for another episode of Season 2 of Between the Piers. How are y'all doing? Is everybody staying cool out there? It's been really hot recently. Speaking of not being cool, I got bad news, folks. It appears episode 10 of season 1 is still at large. Local guides and authorities believe it to be on sabbatical in the Allagash Wilderness area heading north towards the St. Lawrence. If you have any information regarding its whereabouts, please contact Between the Piers on Instagram at Between the Piers Podcast. That is at Between the Piers _podcast. Thank you. Now, on to today's guest. Today's guest is a real mover and shaker. And I'm super excited to finally get them into the studio as they have been on my radar since episode 2 of season 1. My next guest is Savanna Deer, a scuba instructor, a scientific diver for Team Zostera, and most impressively, even though her CV is already super remarkable, part of the startup that won the Top Gun business pitch competition and was awarded $25,000 to introduce innovative practices to Maine's rapidly growing aquaculture industry. Savanna, it's great to have you in the studio.
Hey,
how are you?
Thanks for having me. I'm doing well. How are you?
Good. I know you were in the water all day today.
Yeah, I was. I did 2 dives today. Did a Discover Scuba dive and Confined Water too.
Oh, nice. How'd they go?
Discover Scuba went all right. Scuba's not her thing. But Confined Water, student blew it out of the water. He did great.
Nice. He blew the confined water out of the water.
He did.
So for folks who might not know what a confined water dive is, can you explain that to somebody?
Yeah, so with scuba instructing, there's 3 parts to it. So the first part is your e-learning, which is like 10 to 12 hours, do it on your own. And then confined water, which is where we demonstrate all the skills for you to do. And confined water is defined as water that is shallow enough to stand in pool-like conditions. And then once we do the skill, the instructor demonstrates the skill. They do the skill afterwards. But then once we do 3 sessions of that, they graduate to open water. So they do all the skills over again. And the instructor isn't supposed to demonstrate the skill. And open water is defined as water that's deep enough to not stand in.
Right. That's when you get to the level where you're starting to become more independent of your instructor.
Yeah.
And man, confined. I remember my confined water dive. I actually had a panic attack. My first confined water dive.
No.
I was literally like in 4 feet of water.
Yeah.
And it was just the sensation of breathing underwater. My brain was like, oh my God, you are supposed to be drowning right now, but you're not drowning. What is going on?
Yeah, no, that's common, especially when we do the mask removal stuff or the mask flooding. It freaks everybody out. I mean, I get it. You're not supposed to be in the water. Like,
yeah, I know.
We're land critters. So.
And then suddenly you're breathing underwater and your brain is like, I have not evolved for this kind of sensation.
And you want to breathe through your nose and you can't.
Yep. And you just got to trust this like device, the regulator in your mouth.
Yes.
Yeah, I definitely have you get over it pretty quickly, but that first one, oh my gosh. You're going to do that, discover scuba, and you're going to be like, "Oh man, scuba's not my thing. I absolutely hate it." But once you get through that that initial terrifying sensation of like breathing through this regulator, like you just unlock a whole new section of the map. Mm-hmm. And I don't know, seeing a lobster underwater in its natural habitat versus in a tank at Hannaford is one of the most special experiences.
100%. Yep. It is always so special to get people in the water for their first time. Their eyes are so wide. They're in heaven. It's magical. So I am very happy to be part of that process for some people.
It's like the moon down there. It's like a completely
you're like an
different
astronaut.
World. Yes.
Especially like literally doing a night dive.
Oh
you
my
feel like
gosh.
an astronaut. No, it's so cool.
I went on one night dive and my gear was just completely not optimized for it. I had no business being in that water. And like my mask kept flooding and I'm like, this is ridiculous. I just kept clearing it and then it would go back and then I'd clear it and I'm like, this is just ridiculous. Yeah. But I'm super dried out. Can you tell? Like I have not been in the water for so long. It's been so bad.
That's all right. We'll get you back in the water, Piers.
Please.
Yeah, we got you.
Thank you.
Mhm.
So I understand you're a very talented diver. That kind of goes
thank
without
you.
saying. And that has led you all the way from recreational scuba diver, which is kind of the lowest tier qualification in the PADI world, or SSI or NAUI, all the way to scientific diver qualification, which is much further up,
Mm.
to all the way to being able to teach people how to dive. You are a scuba diving instructor, which is one of the highest qualifications in the scuba diving certification system, maybe under like master scuba diver,
Mhm.
which is like the black belt of scuba certifications. Where did your diving journey start?
That's a great question. It started at UMaine. Shout out UMaine. I was offered to take a graduate course called Coral Reefs, and for the middle of the semester, you were sent down to Bonaire to collect data on the reef. And I was like, okay, well, yeah, this is awesome. So I got to go get scuba certified. Got my scuba certification. I wasn't able to go to the trip, unfortunately. Had to get my wisdom teeth removed, and it was the only week I could get them removed.
That is oh, man.
I know. Don't talk about it.
I have so much hatred for wisdom teeth, but it's not something I want to talk about in between the peers.
Yeah.
Anybody
So-
who knows me knows I hate wisdom teeth with a passion.
Oh, okay. Well, this is adding to your list of hatred for wisdom teeth.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, I'm peeved. I'm peeved for you.
Thanks. Yeah, so I was able to go, but that really sparked an interest in me to do more diving, because when I did my first open water dive, I was like, okay, this is it. Like, changing careers. This is it. This is what I want to do now. And UMaine also offers a scientific diving course, which is where I took it up the next level after open water. That was a semester-long course. Every Wednesday, we'd go out for 2 dives a day. And at the end of the semester, I became an AUS scientific diver, open water through PADI, rescue through PADI, got a bunch of like CPR, first aid, oxygen administration certifications. So it was like the bundle of perfectness for diving and like setting you up in the world. And that's where that opened my mind up to scientific diving. Was like, yes, this is it. This is what I want to do. Graduated the semester after, and was kind of putzing around for jobs in the marine realm. I was previously a vet tech, so my background was more so in like animal health,
Whoa.
like dogs and cats. But I wanted to do ocean stuff instead.
You decided to work with sea dogs instead of
Exactly.
Dogs.
Exactly, 100%.
Have you ever dove a seal?
No.
Ah.
I'm in the process of trying to set up a Monhegan dive.
Oh, you are?
Yeah, to do the seals.
Have you considered doing Halfway Rock?
No.
I've heard Halfway Rock has good seal.
Is that the one near
population.
Portland?
I could not tell you.
All right.
I've heard all about it. Halfway Rock.
I've been seeing videos buzzing around of some locals diving with seals. I think it's Halfway Rock.
Nice.
Yeah.
That seems to be the place.
So, yeah, but that scientific diving course is kind of what set it up for me. And then last summer, I was at the shop, Aqua Diving Academy, and one of the guys who used to work there was telling me about just like being a dive professional, and he saw that I was a good diver. It's like, well, what do you want to do with this? It's like, well, I want to be a science diver, but what other avenues can I take with it? Told me about Dive Master, and then from there you become an instructor. And I was hesitant to do it at first because I wasn't sure if I'd really like it, but I'm glad I went with it because I love it.
So that's amazing, and I love that that's how that's turned out. But you got all of those certifications through that UMaine course?
Yeah, pretty much. I flew through the certs. I became an instructor on my 100th dive.
What?
Which, from my understanding, again, because this is my experience, but from what I've been told from other people, that's not very common. It's actually funny because during my instructor's exam, the guy was commenting on, he was sorry, podcasters, but buoyancy. Y'all know what that is? So
Floating up and down.
yeah. So neutrally buoyant means you're like hanging out in the water column. You're not sinking or rising. You're just like neutral.
Mm-hmm.
And he was commenting. I was like, oh, you have really good neutral buoyancy. And he's like, how many dives do you have? And I was like, oh, this is my 100th dive. And he like got really mad. And he was like, what do you mean this is your 100th dive? And I was like, oh God. Like, was I not supposed to say that? He starts like pacing around the pool. And I was like, oh my gosh, like I messed this one up. Because with SSI, you have to have 100 dives to be an instructor.
Sure.
So I was like, oh my God, I slipped up. Like I messed up. I can't become an instructor anymore. Turns out he just wanted to get me a present for being my 100th dive. So like the next dive he came with like a towel and some swag and was like, congratulations on your 100th dive. And I was like, oh, you're not mad at me? He was like, no, dude, that's awesome.
That's so wild.
I was like, oh, thank you.
He was so pressed just walking back and forth because he was trying to figure out what kind of swag he wanted to give you for your 100th dive. Is crazy.
That's exactly right. Yeah, he was literally pacing back and forth. I was like, oh my God, this is it.
This is it.
I can't.
Oh,
Become
man.
an instructor. I flew all the way down to Florida to do this, and now I can't.
And now I'm flying back without the certification.
Yep. Like, hey, crew, sorry, didn't get it.
Sorry.
Yep.
Oh, that's an absolute insanity. That kind of reminds me of during the registered Maine guide exam. I think I've talked about this with previous guests, but there was one moment where they take you into the room, right?
Uh-oh.
And every Maine guide knows the room,
Uh-oh.
right? It's for like confidentiality's sake, I won't talk about the room, but it's where you get tested. It's where you get tested for the Maine guide exam. And it's me and it's all these testers. There's 4 of them during my second exam. My first exam I failed. My second exam, there's 4 examiners, one of which is on Zoom from the Allagash River waterway.
Oh.
So I'm like, wow, I'm really under the spotlight right now. And, they're asking me questions. And I don't know if it's the same as during the SCUBA instructor, but there's a game when it comes to getting that cert. You got to know how to play the game with them.
Yes, I know what you mean now. Yeah, you have to use the right language, the right body language. There's certain aspects that you have to like hit these very specific keynotes, and it is kind of a game, especially with the instructor. It's a hard test, and it's over a couple days.
Oh wow!
So it's I know what you mean about the game now.
Oh yeah, the Maine guide exam is, oh my gosh, it's like the longest hour of your life.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember I was playing the game with them, and they're like, "So, have you been tested on birds?" And I'm like, "No, I can't say I have been tested on birds. They didn't do that the first time around." And they're like, "Okay, great, we're gonna test you on birds right now." And I'm like, "I'm a bird expert."
Yeah, this is my jam.
Yeah. So yeah, it's kind of the same thing with the scuba diving. I'd assume it's the same thing with the scuba diving instructors. You just have to like know the game, and you got to play the game.
There's a rubric.
And
if you don't follow the rubric, then they will not let you pass.
Absolutely.
So that's the game.
That is the game.
Yep.
For sure. So what specialized certifications do you possess other than like the basic ones, like ice diving, underwater naturalism, any of those?
Let me see. For teaching or just in general?
Just in general.
In general, to be honest, I don't really know, but I've done a lot of more adventurous dives. I'm not certified in any of them, but I can technically teach them. I've done night diving. I've done deep diving. I've not done ice diving. I like the cold, but not the frigid cold.
Not that much.
Yeah, not that much. Fish ID, like underwater naturalist. PADI has a bunch of like conservation stuff that I can teach and that I'm certified for. Yeah, my focus is much more on like the critters.
Yeah.
And the animals.
Absolutely.
Rather than like doing adventurous dives. I don't really care to do much of the tech world. Just not interested in it. Most of the stuff that I want to see is like 60 feet and above. So I don't really have the ego to be like, yeah, I dove 200 feet. I don't really care about that. So
that's so fair. And, I feel like that's the cool thing about scuba diving is that everybody has their own journey in it, right? You get the guys who are like, I want to dive 250 feet, right?
I don't care about that. I don't want
to. Yeah, you're like, I don't want to do that. I just want to see like a seahorse or something.
Yeah. Oh my God. 100. All I want to see is a seahorse. Yeah.
Right. Like
I would have much happier time flexing about the fact that I've seen a seahorse or a whale shark or anything like that than being like, yep, 205 is my max depth.
205 is my max depth.
I don't care.
And I was huffing helium down there.
Yeah, I don't care.
Yeah.
No. That's great.
Yeah. I know a lot of people everywhere on the diving spectrum, so it's always funny to see that it's such a specialized thing and people can go in different directions with it.
Yeah, it's very versatile. There's a lot you can do with it, and that's something I've learned. I mean, I'm still a very new instructor. I just got the certification like 9 months ago.
Cool.
So I'm still very new and learning about all the different avenues but like all the different personalities that come with it too.
Nice.
It's funny.
So wreck diving's off the table, right?
Like shipwreck.
Yeah.
That's funny. I also don't really have an interest in wreck diving.
Damn it!
I know. So, okay.
Excuse me.
I know because there's like fish and all the other critters that like to hang out by the wrecks. So I would go down there to see them, but I don't really have an interest in penetrating into a shipwreck. Honestly.
That's fair.
Which is I know not very common. Everyone's like, oh, you gotta go do the wreck dive. I don't really care. I'm actually gonna do my first wreck dive in September.
Okay.
Sorry, end of August in Moosehead. Moosehead Lake, there's a ship there that I'm going to go dive.
That's kind of hard. Wait, what?
Yeah.
Why is there a ship in Moosehead?
I don't know. It's only in like 40 feet of water.
Oh, that's not bad.
That's my jam.
Fair enough.
60 feet and above.
60
But
feet
obviously
and above.
when I teach advanced open water, you go deeper. But
Sure. But
we don't
you
need to get into
choose
specifics. No, I don't choose to. Everything that I want to see is 60 feet and above.
Sure.
Yeah.
When I was in the Outer Banks working for the Park Service, the Outer Banks is the graveyard of the Atlantic, and hundreds of boats have gone off because that's where the jet stream comes up from the south and meets the Labrador Strait coming down from the north.
Okay.
And they meet right there in
Yeah.
the Outer Banks, and it just causes absolute tidal chaos and shoaling. And so many boats have gone down there, including a couple of German U-boats from World War II.
Whoa, really?
Yeah, a couple of U-boats because there was Operation. It was called Operation. I'm gonna botch this up. I don't speak German. Operation Paukenschlacht, which is Operation Drumroll, and it was. Well, I wish. It was like the second time that we had been attacked in World War II. Like there was Pearl Harbor, and everybody knows about Pearl Harbor, but at the same time as Pearl Harbor and the U.S. was struggling to mobilize, the Germans saw an opportunity to start attacking our freight liners coming out of the East Coast.
Oh.
So they sent a bunch of U-boats to the East Coast, and they'd go up and down just sinking freighters.
I take my drum roll back.
Yeah, right? Like,
Yeah.
it was pretty brutal.
That is brutal.
And they got a couple of them off the coast of North Carolina. And I think one of the U-boats is in like 60 feet of water.
All right. Maybe I'll go see that ship then.
See, like that, and that's kind of where I was at. Like, I was never into like obviously like diving in a shipwreck is freaking sick.
Yeah.
But I was never like, oh yeah, like I want to do the Doria. I was like, but then I heard that there were U-boats, and I'm like, well, World War II is kind of cool.
Yeah, that would be interesting. If it's, I mean, most ships have a lot of history, but definitely if it was like a warship, I would be interested in seeing that.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
So going back to the scientific diver program at the University of Maine.
Yeah.
How demanding would you say it is?
It was a full day. You know, you'd get to class at 8 and then you'd be done by 6. So that's a 10-hour day.
Whoa.
Yeah. It depended on the day, it depended on the tide, but typically you could start with like an hour or two of lecture in the morning, get your gear ready, you go out for your first dive, and then have a lunch, and then do your second dive, and then come back. I do remember there were some days where we'd get back late and all the other, so let me back up. I was staying at the Maine Center doing this course. It was for like a semester away called Semester by the Sea.
Semester by the Sea.
Yeah. That's where I took it. So it was like a very small campus, and everyone lived on that campus for the semester. And they had a chef there that would cook us breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
Oh, sick.
Like a regular dorm. But we would come back so late that sometimes they would already be done with dinner. So they would just like leave us a couple plates of dinner. Like,
that's kind of
here's the dinner for the divers.
Yikes.
Yeah, it's demanding. It was one of the most demanding courses I took at UMaine. Other than physics. I hate physics. So that's why. But like physically demanding 100%. There were people that did not pass that class or did not get the certification. You know, you have to do a swim test, you have to do all these open water tests. So it's demanding, but it is so worth it. If you have an interest in being a marine biologist of any capacity, you are probably going to have to scuba dive at some point. And having that scientific diver certification is like the best thing to have.
It's also kind of crazy how many like certifications you get through the scientific diving course at UMaine. Like if you're getting advanced open water, rescue, all these crazy like oxygenate, not oxygenation.
Yeah, oxygen administration.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's unique to UMaine. So not every AUS course through a college has all of those. So shout out to you, Maine, again for racking all of those into the one semester because that is unique.
That's an insane bang for your buck, too.
Yes. Yeah. When you come out of the semester, you're a very well-rounded diver.
Yeah, compared to
100%.
like building it up grassroots, like piece by piece by
Yes.
piece in terms of your certifications.
Yep. And they allowed us to use the gear and dive wherever. So I would dive for fun like 3 to 4 times a week. So yeah, when I ended the semester, I started with like 4 dives and then I ended up with 50.
Wow.
So I gained a lot of experience through that. And I am very thankful for it because here I am today, 2 years later.
Absolutely. A certified diving instructor on your 100th dive, which
That too.
is so sick.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So do you have any interesting diving stories? Like, what is the coolest wildlife you've seen? Because people love hearing about like cool wildlife stories.
Yeah.
And what do you got?
Okay. I have a couple.
Let's hear it.
Okay, well, one of them was from that course, the scientific diver course. We had to do a night dive for your advanced open water. You do a night dive. You don't have to, but they choose to, and like night dives are awesome. And bioluminescence, you know what that is?
Absolutely.
So she told us, she's like, yeah, you might see some bioluminescence. Like, no big deal.
No big deal.
No big deal. Exactly what I said.
What?
I'm like freaking out. I'm like, oh my God. It's
Yep.
gonna be bioluminescence. So we get in the water, we drop down, and one of the skills you have to do is turn your flashlight off and just like kind of hang there in the water column for a minute in the dark. And turn the flashlight off, and the instructor's in the center, and I'm just like looking up, and I remember putting my hand through the water, and it just looks like fairy dust, like
Whoa.
glistening, like and it's bioluminescence because when you agitate them, that's when they light up. So I was like putting my hand through the water, like moving it around, and it's just like a trail of like fairy dust, like following behind my hand.
That's so cool.
Yeah, I it was so amazing, and I lost like concentration of what I was supposed to be doing, which isn't good, but I was so in awe of.
I was going to
it.
say your instructor probably got really peeved about
Yeah,
that.
she's like, tisk, like standing up, pay attention. Like, yeah, you're right. I'm sorry.
Brutal.
You're right.
Brutal. It's a core moment, Professor. You
It
don't
was
understand.
a core moment, and I talked to her afterwards. She was like, "Yeah, I understand." Like, yeah,
Professionally, I have to poo-poo you on this, but I do understand. It
Yeah.
does make sense.
exactly.
Yep.
You know, you have moments like that every once in a while in the water where it's like a couple weeks ago, I was instructing. I had 3 students out with me. We were at Dyer Cove.
Yep.
2 lights, and we were diving the rocky reef, and then I had them go down into the sand, go down on their knees, and we did a couple skills. And halfway through one of the skills, the student just like points his hand behind me, and so I turned around and looked, and it was a wall of pollock, and
Whoa.
I'm talking like probably thousands of pollock, and we had really good visibility that day. It was like 20 to 25 foot visibility.
It's hilarious. In Maine, that's like a beautiful
it's like a beautiful day. Yeah. So we had really good visibility, and I turned around, and the pollock was so thick that I couldn't see past it. So that means I'm like looking at like 20 feet worth of
Giant
pollock.
wall of pollock.
Yes, it was a giant wall of pollock. And
Wow.
you know, I think about Maine waters, they're not disappearing, but they're lessening in numbers. So when I came back to the shop to tell my boss about it, I was like, oh my God, you wouldn't believe the wall of pollock that we saw. She's like, oh, that's so great to hear. And back to like being in the water. So the student like turned around, or student pointed, turned around, and the wall of pollock was behind, and I like tried to get their attention back, but they started to like kind of circle around us. Like it was almost like we were in a bait ball, and it's like we're in the Gulf of Maine. Like,
Why is this happening?
why is this happening? This is amazing. So I made them stop the skill, like, you know, look at it for a little bit.
Just take a moment.
Yeah, just take a moment. I mean, at the end of the day, you're scuba diving to see what's down there. So of course I'm going to let them look at it for 30, 40 seconds, and then we can continue with the skill, because when we got back out of the water, they wouldn't shut up about it. They were so stoked. Like, I could not believe we saw that. Oh my God, it was so awesome. And I like kind of joked with them. I was like, you know, you can't tell people that we saw all those fish there, because they're going to go try and fish
Then they're
them.
going to go try and go fishing.
Yeah, so when we got back to the shore, and all of like the tourists were like, are you scuba diving? Yes, we're scuba diving. And they're like, oh, what do you see down there? And the students like, crabs. All we saw was crabs. Just crabs. Crabs and sea stars. I was like, that's right. There were no fish.
Green crabs specifically.
Green crabs, only invasives.
Oh God.
So it's cute. But yeah, that was a great time seeing the pollock. And that was just recently. No, just like 2-3 weeks ago.
That's so sick.
Yep.
It's always such a funny experience when you're going diving at like one of Maine's crowded beaches and like you're walking towards the water with your wetsuit on and like your tank on and all your stuff on and you're just like doop 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 doop. Because when you're diving, you're like you have all this gear on and you feel like I don't know, you feel like a Stay Puft Marshmallow Man. You know what I mean? Especially with the thick 7mm wetsuits, you're kind of like frozen in that position. And all these people are staring at you. Like, you know, you got all like the sunbathers and the folks that are swimming in like 2 to 3 feet. And they're just staring at you like, what? But occasionally you get the little girl who's like, oh my gosh, scuba divers. And you're like, yeah, you're right.
That's cute. I like it when the kids come up. It's nice. I'll take a couple minutes to show them the gear and talk to them about it. But sometimes the adults I can get a little frustrated with.
Oh, for sure.
I love it when people ask questions because that means that they want to learn. But when I am like with a group of students, very obviously talking to them, and then they come up like, "Are you scuba diving?" Yes. I'm not. I'm just walking around with a scuba tank on my back.
It's my cosplay of Scuba Steve. Dude.
Yeah, I'm just cosplaying. That's all.
Dave the Diver. Dude,
I'm not sweating in a 7mm wetsuit for fun.
I'll tell you a crazy story. When I was at the university, man, I never got a chance to go scuba diving, and I'm kicking myself about it now. But I was in a swiftwater rescue course as part of the KPE like outdoor leadership.
Yeah, I know a couple people that did that. They really enjoyed it.
Oh, it's great. Mm-hmm. It was absolutely awesome. And we did like a swiftwater rescue, and we had to wear dry suits. Not like a scuba diving dry suit, but like a.
Oh, was it like the survival suit?
No,
like
not the big old fluffy survival suits.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah,
though?
the 10mm orange suits. So
yes,
just like,
I wore one of those for the first time like a month or so ago.
How terrible was it?
Bad.
Yeah.
You can't do anything in it.
No, you're literally
keeps you warm though, I will say.
I don't doubt that.
Yeah.
Oof.
You didn't get wet either.
I think they were more like kayak, like rafting dry suits.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And it had to be like 85 degrees while you're wearing these dry suits. And it was so hot.
Oof.
And then you like face plant into
Sweat
the
city.
rapids. Yeah, Sweat City for sure. And then you like face plant into the rapids and you're like, I get
Feels
it now.
good.
Feels good.
Feels good.
But I was sitting there, I'm like, this is how I pass out in class right here, right now.
Yeah.
But yeah. So what was the most, in your opinion, what was the most difficult aspect of rising the ranks, if you will, to the certification of scuba diving instructor? Like, were there any classes in between? Like, obviously you had the UMaine class, which was incredibly challenging. Did you have anything in between where you were like, oh, this sucks?
Yeah. So AUS scientific diving certification is very different than like your traditional recreational diving. It's not all right. Let me try to explain this. So it's not a true certification because you have to renew it every year. If you don't do 12 dives within the year, then you become inactive. So if you're not with an organizational member, then you become inactive and you're not technically a scientific diver. Versus with a typical recreational diver certification, it doesn't ever expire. So someone can get scuba certified tomorrow, and then the next time they dive is in 60 years. And it's perfectly fine. Obviously, I don't recommend that because A, technology changes, B, you don't remember. But people do it, you know. And in between that, so I did my advanced in rescue through UMaine, and then pretty much the next step after that was dive master, which is like the precursor to becoming an instructor. You can't certify students, but you can demonstrate skills with an instructor, and then the instructor like certifies the student. And then I moved right into assistant instructor, and then into instructor. Honestly, I really think that the instructor portion was the hardest. I thought all of it was very fun up until then. Not that it wasn't fun, but it was more challenging for sure, especially with so I can teach through 2 agencies, SSI and PADI. I did SSI first, and I found that one to be a lot more difficult than PADI's instructor exam. I think I just had a little less guidance on SSIs versus PADIs. Like, they really hold your hand and like, this is exactly what we want you to do, and this is how you're going to pass. So, you know,
and SSI is just like, nah, you figure it out.
Yeah, it's like, here's the e-learning, and then like, here's half a rubric.
Good luck, Charlie.
Yeah, good luck. We'll see you for the instructor exam. So, and just like learning all the backhand stuff about diving, learning the instructor manuals because it's very specific, which is great. There's a reason why they have it. But yeah, just learning the manuals, learning all the paperwork behind it, legally what it's like to be an instructor. That was very new for me. Obviously, like getting into that like legal mindset is very different.
Oh yeah,
than just,
like liability and whatnot.
Yeah, exactly. Like, just let's go look at fish versus, okay, how can this person sue me now?
No.
So it's, that's a whole different step. And I'm not very, before this, I wasn't very legally literate. I don't know how to,
Sure.
I didn't know much about that. And that was a big part of the instructor exam, and the instructor, diving course is teaching you about all those aspects. So it's just a mind shift into a different perspective of diving, which I'm very thankful to have. Obviously now when I bring students out, I'm like, okay, what could go wrong? But you never really have them. At least I haven't.
Thank goodness.
Yeah, thank goodness. You bring students out and they get nervous sometimes, but you just chat with them, and then they're so happy that they did it. So I think that was at least for me, that was the biggest hurdle. Like just learning about the backhand of all of it
and the legal side of
aspects.
diving, because you're like, man, I just want to go out and like be subsurface. I don't want to learn about like liability and Good Samaritan clauses and all these things.
Yeah, and like accidents happen. There's been a couple in the news lately, and those people, they get shut down.
Yep,
they get shut down. At the end of the day, you don't have to scuba dive.
Yep, absolutely.
And they like, okay, well, this isn't a requirement. You're done.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's very similar to the, like, when you get your wilderness first responder and you start to learn about, like, Maine's Good Samaritan laws and, like, you're legally allowed to administer epinephrine. And you're like,
really?
Yeah. Wilderness first responders are legally allowed to administer epinephrine, and they, like, show you how to do it on, like, a pig foot. It's a wild experience.
That's so interesting.
Yep. It's, and then you learn like there's like a woofer protocol compared to like your standard EMS protocol. So like
woofer, like the people that work for. Wait, what do you mean by woofer?
Wilderness first responder.
Wilderness first.
So there's.
Oh. I'm thinking of You could totally cut this out. That organization? It's called WOOF, where you like it's like World Organization something workers.
Oh.
I don't know why I was like, oh yeah, woofer.
That's. That is a joke. That is a joke in the outdoor recreation industry of it's like, this person's in danger. I got a woofer, and like a dog comes running over. That's like a joke you see consistently in the outdoor recreation world with woofer. But yeah, no, and you're learning like all this legal liability, and like you're legally allowed to administer epinephrine. Yeah, which is a little like, ooh,
that's crazy because it's usually prescribed.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Well, it is. It's not usually. It is prescribed.
It is prescribed. Yeah. Yes, and you are allowed to administer their epinephrine. You don't. I mean, I guess there is like it has been a while since I've taken my woofer. So I do know you. I did stick a pig with an adrenaline needle though. So, a pig foot. The pig. It was not an actual pig, guys. Just so we're
right
clear.
into the shoulder.
Between the Beers does not condone any sort of harm to animals at all. Speaking of animals,
yeah.
So you've worked in like animal husbandry as well, right?
Kind of. I mean, I was a vet tech.
Sure.
For like 4 or 5 years.
Sure.
I don't know if that's technically animal husbandry, but yeah. Yes. Yeah. Animal care. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough.
Yeah.
Yeah. You've worked with dogs, cats, any exotic animals come through? Like, did you have to like sedate a baby tiger or anything like that?
I wish I got to do that, but in high school I did an internship with a wildlife center. So we did like birds of prey, raccoons, possums, turtles, songbirds.
Hell yeah. That's cool stuff.
That was cool.
That is super cool stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I also understand, and if I had a nickel for every time I've talked about Team Zostera on this podcast, I'd have 2 nickels, which is not a lot, but it's happened twice.
It's more than one.
Yes. I understand you also hold a pretty significant role in Team Zostera. Long-term listeners, like I said, might remember that from season 1, episode 2. Can you explain your role in Team Zostera?
Yeah. So I have a couple roles with them. I'm one of their scientific divers. I do a little bit of outreach and education for them. And I'm in the process of being trained. Well, I'm being trained to be their diving safety officer.
Oh, so you're taking the mantle from Mr. Robbins.
Yes.
Hell yeah, that's awesome.
Yes.
Very, very cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and in case listeners don't know what we're referring to when we talk about Team Zostera, Team Zostera is a citizen science initiative in the Gulf of Maine that works to replace eelgrass. Eelgrass, what is the scientific name for it?
Zostera marina.
Zostera marina. And their goal is to replenish eelgrass, which we have seen declining at an alarming rate.
Yeah, pretty bad.
I'm not part of Team Zostera. I'd love to be, but I'm not quite there yet. But I do know a lot of people really put their heart and soul into Team Zostera. So what does it take for aspiring divers like myself to get a chance to volunteer in teams like Team Zostera?
Yeah. So we're in the process of becoming an AUS organizational member. So like I've been talking about science diving the whole time. Which would be really cool because we'd be the first nonprofit in the state to do that. A lot of AUS organizational members, I'm going to say OM. OM stands for organizational member.
Cool.
So there's not many nonprofits in AUS to begin with, so we will definitely stand out, which is awesome. But because of that, that means you have to be an AUS diver to join the team. Like I said, we're in the process of it. We'll get cleared either by the end of this month, if not in November, to get to become an OM. So whereas before you could just be a open water diver, this time you're not going to have to go through a 2-week intensive course to become a diver. So similar to what UMaine offers, we will offer that as well. We just did it 2 weeks ago. We completed the AUS onboarding, which is an awesome experience to be part of because, like I said, just 2 years ago, I was doing that course and now I got to assist with it. But yep, so to dive with us, you will have to get that AUS certification, do your 12 dives with us to stay an active member. And then you can pretty much just dive with us whenever we go out and do our stuff, our science.
Are you telling me I have to go back to school?
Yeah. But it's not like hard school. It's diving.
Okay, yeah, right.
Yeah.
That's much better than
it's 12 dives over 2 weeks that
Okay.
you do with us.
Yep.
And it's 100% guided by us. Like we tell you exactly what's going on. There is a test, but it's not hard.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's a lot better than my UMaine anatomy class.
Oh, if you did anatomy, you will rock this course.
Oh my God. I did not have a good time in anatomy. I think I took it 3 times, and the third time I just failed it out of spite.
I'm done with this.
I gave up at that point.
Yeah.
Anyways, not talking about my really, really degenerate college years. I understand that you've been part of a pretty incredible story as of recent, and that is the story of Saco Bay Sea Farms, which I am so excited to talk about.
Yes.
Can you explain to the audience the history of Saco Bay Sea Farms and what sets it apart from other aquaculture startups here on the coast? Because I feel like aquaculture is a big topic right now.
Super hot.
Yep.
Super hot, especially because of Graham Plattner. Because he's a oyster farmer. Everyone knows Graham right now. So yeah, aquaculture is super hot in the state.
Yep.
It's hot in the country too. It's relatively new farming method compared to just like regular land farming. So Saco Bay Sea Farms, established 2025, so super new. We are a scallop, urchin, and kelp farm.
Whoa,
based
that's
in
3 species.
3 species. That's right. That's the key. 3. So,
3's the key.
3's the key. So they are very unique because we're going to be we are the only scallop farm in southern Maine. Pretty much everyone else is in mid-coast and up. So if anybody is buying scallops, they're either from day boats, so they're just harvested in the wild, or they are from way up north, like 4 or 5 hours north. So for us to be this close to Portland and Boston is really advantageous. Long travels for scallops can degrade the meat, just make someone unhappy critter. So it's good for us to be closer to everything else.
That's really interesting. Do you taste a difference between like farm-raised scallops and wild-caught scallops?
That's such a good question. We are in the process of figuring that out.
Fair enough.
We are trying to do a couple partners with universities to really figure out if the scallop meat is actually healthier. So like doing true dissections on like the chemical aspects of the scallop to make sure that they are healthier, or to see that they are healthier. And then just like to do a couple taste tests to see what the taste is.
You see, and this is all for you folks. Like every time you order scallops at DeMillo's, just know that there is so much science going into it. This is so freaking cool.
Yeah.
Okay. So, and I understand that it has a very unique way of engaging in aquaculture that maybe hasn't been seen before in the aquaculture industry. Can you explain that?
Yeah, I think you're referring to our farming method.
Plug and play, I think, is the words I read.
Plug and play. So yeah, I'll talk about that in a moment. Let me back up. So our farming method is very unique because the scallops and the urchins live together. So typical shellfish monoculture, so mono meaning one culture, so just one species that they're growing, just lives in a cage by itself. Also, most of the time, this product is grown at the surface of the water. So typical oyster grow, oyster farming, they live at the surface of the water column, and it's just oysters. Okay, so same thing with back up, ignore that. With our farm, the scallops and the urchins live together on the bottom. So the urchins live with the scallops to get rid of biofouling. Biofouling is the accumulation of unwanted organisms on gear.
Like zebra mussels or?
More so like tunicates. Tunicates are a huge problem.
Can you explain what a tunicate is? My goal is to be the dumbest person in the room.
That's fine. So a tunicate... Yeah, they can be a little difficult to explain. They're a sac-like creature, and they're actually similar to humans, but not to humans. Like, they're cousins in the grand scheme of thing because they have like a spinal cord. They have a inlet siphon and an outlet siphon, so they're filter feeders. They can be solitary or colonial, meaning that so imagine if you just like multiplied me by like 1,000, but then connected me by my arms. So I'm just like one unit, but I have individual beings.
Lord have mercy.
Yeah, so they can be a little complex. The typical ones that we see here, let's see, common names, you can look them up. Glassface tunicate, star tunicate, sheath tunicate. If you look up botuloides, that's what you're gonna... I can't spell that right now. BOTYL, something like that. Botuloides.
That's a word.
That's the scientific name that I know them by. Yeah, their common name is sheath tunicate. But what they do is they smother the gear. If you look at a piece of rope, it's like totally encased by this tunicate.
Ugh.
And they're invasive.
Yeah,
they're very aggressive. They grow very fast.
Is it a species from like Europe or Asia?
I don't know exactly where they're native to.
Okay.
I should know that.
Okay,
but I don't. And they cover everything. They ruin your gear. They make it heavy. And it is a huge labor sink for aquaculturists. So I read a study recently for scallop farming, like 35% of labor done on the farm is to mitigate biofouling and to clean the stuff.
Oh
so
God.
You're wasting 35% of your time working just by getting rid of this biofouling, right? So our method is having the urchins with the scallops, and the urchins eat the biofouling.
I was going to say they feed on the tunicates?
Yes, they eat everything. They are awesome.
Okay.
We love urchins.
Okay.
So we did a very small pilot study last year on our stuff, and we found that with urchins living with scallops, we decreased mortality of the scallops by a pretty significant number. I can't remember, but the biofouling reduced by 73%. Which
Whoa.
is huge. So
how did nobody ever think of this?
I don't know.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
I don't know.
That's really cool.
The literature is out there, but the actual methods for commercial scale haven't been proven yet, which is what we're trying to do. So we're really trying to prove that this can be done on a commercial scale, because aquaculture is hard work, but a lot of it is because of cleaning gear. As I just said, 35% of what you do on the farm is just to
cleaning off
the tunicates.
Huh. Ain't that something?
So if you can have a product take care of it for you, and then you sell that product, you're making a lot more money.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because eventually the urchins will be sold,
Yep.
shipped to Japan.
Yep.
And we're making money off of them. not only by reducing our labor, but by actually selling the product.
Does the urchin consuming the tunicate lead to any adverse health effects when you consume the urchin?
When you eat the urchin?
Yeah.
No, absolutely not.
Okay.
And what we plan to do too is like feed them other food before we collect them for harvest. But they have been living in there for years and they've been totally fine.
Cool.
Yeah.
Very, very neat.
I mean,
And
they're going to eat them in the wild anyway.
sure.
It's just more concentrated because they're in a cage.
Sure. So they just get all the food they want. It's like an all-you-can-eat buffet for your urchins.
Yeah.
And it keeps your scallops alive.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
And
that's-
clean. So another thing too with oyster farming is you have to clean all these oysters because the biofouling lands on the oyster too.
Can it get in the shell?
I have not seen that.
Okay.
Yeah. But with the scallop, it lands on the shell too. So like, it's on the shell. So you have to clean the actual product before you even sell it.
Ugh.
So you're cleaning the gear, cleaning the product, and then the urchins just clean everything.
Mhm.
So the people that want to buy whole scallop, like the whole animal, we don't have to clean them. We just package them and they're good to
The
go.
urchin have already done it.
Yes.
Oh, wow. That's super, super neat.
Mhm.
So what is your role in Saco Bay Sea Farms? Like, what is an average day in the life?
Right now, it's a lot of backhand stuff, like grants, getting the business really up and going.
Mhm.
We have product on the farm, but we are still waiting for our custom-made boat coming from Washington.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So waiting for that. She was supposed to be here like a month ago, but bad things happened. So
Oh,
we're
dear.
still waiting for her to come.
Okay.
She's going to be called the Northern Exposure.
The northern exposure.
Yeah. So
Okay.
once we get the boat, it's going to be like hectic getting everything in order. So I do a lot of the animal health stuff. So like a vet tech, but for the farm,
Okay.
making sure that they're healthy, they're good to go. I help with all the research projects that we're going to be doing. I don't want to speak too much about that because I don't know if I can.
Okay.
But we have a couple projects that we're doing to aid in the benefit of aquaculture, labor, and just like farming methods. But then I also dive for the farm too. So like just commercial diving, moorings, all that kind of stuff. But then also a big part of our farming method is the set it and forget it method. So because we have the urchins in there with them, they're cleaning them, they're happy, they like to be left alone. The scallops love to be just left alone. So I'll pretty much just like be diving down there to make sure they're okay. So open the cage, make sure they're good to go, close the cage. Okay, we'll see you in 6 months.
Wow. That's super, super cool.
Mm.
Have you run into any problems with the kelp? Because we talked a lot about the scallop and the urchins, but how's the kelp going?
Yeah, so that's the third species. We've got urchins and scallops living together in the cages in the bottom. And then the kelp is strung up around the farm, and that's supposed to help reduce pH or to neutralize it.
Oh, wow.
So with shell-making creatures, so like scallops and urchins, that can sometimes decrease the pH, make it more acidic. So bad. You don't want to be living in acid.
Yeah.
The kelp can help mitigate that and make it healthier, make it more basic, make it more neutral.
Oh, wow.
So they aren't living in, and I'm really making this in layman's term, acid. Okay, it's not,
Sure.
it's
It's a little more nuanced than that.
yes.
But the animals and the kelp are all living in like a kind of synchronicity that allows for this to be a really profitable business.
This is called integrated multi-trophic aquaculture, IMTA. It's typically done with a larger predator, like a finfish, so like a salmon, and then you have bivalve, so like an oyster, and then the kelp. But we've kind of nixed the fish, the finfish, and we've replaced it with the urchin.
Okay.
The urchins is what eating the most of the stuff and
Sure.
basically producing the most poop.
Yeah, fair enough.
And then the kelp is there to help mitigate the pH, but also can be sold for profit.
Sure.
So kelp is really healthy for you. It has so many minerals and vitamins in it that I can't list all of them right now. But it also will be fed to the urchins.
Okay.
So the farm is fully self-sufficient.
I was going to say,
because
these urchins are so voracious. Like,
Yes.
they're just eating
They
everything.
eat everything. They've actually been known to eat through fiberglass and plexiglass.
Oh, my God.
They are epic. So they will eat anything.
I guess the hell.
Yeah. So the kelp will feed the urchins, but also feed people, but also make the localized water healthy.
Win, win, win.
It's trying to be as self-sufficient as possible.
Nice.
And depending on where you cut the kelp, it'll just regrow. So you don't have to actually like buy new.
Oh, it just regenerates.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so fascinating.
So this is supposed to be like as set it and forget it as possible. Like we want to be focusing the business on other aspects as well.
Okay.
So
Out of curiosity, do you have any plans to incorporate finfish?
No.
No.
Mm-mm.
No finfish.
No finfish.
Okay, fair enough. So how much of your work is actually physically being subsurface versus just like sitting in an office?
I mean, pretty much once we get the boat, we're going to be only on the water.
Nice.
But you're talking about like scuba.
Sure.
Owner and I are actually about to sit down and figure this out.
Oh, cool.
Because once we get the boat, it's like, okay, time to be on the water. Let's go. So we're trying to make like SOPs and like operation procedures. Like,
Man.
you know, like, okay, what's Operation Fix the Farm? What are we doing first? And scuba is going to be like the first 2 weeks of it, you know, like laying down our lines, making sure that they're straight and proper. Is going to be a big part of it. That's commercial work though. You know, that's just what part of the job is.
Did you have commercial experience prior?
Nope.
Oh,
So this is going to be new for me. I'm excited.
cool. Heck yeah.
Yeah. I did it at like a little, and I'm talking about I did it like once at the farm that I worked for last year. They wanted to find a mooring. So I went down to try and find it. That was it.
That's the extent of your commercial work.
Yes.
Cool. That's that. You'll figure it out.
Yeah. Last summer for the farm though, I did dive down there twice. Once was to go look at the cages because we're also trying to prove that these are like mini habitats for other organisms, like lobster. And when I went down there, I did find that lobsters were making home of our cages.
That's pretty cool.
It's epic. Yeah. So trying to prove that these like fish aggregation devices and, you know, just like improving local biodiversity. So I went down there to dive and look at that, but then I also cut rocks off of stuff. So that's my other commercial diving experience. Cutting rocks and looking for stuff.
Sick. That's super cool.
Yeah.
So talking about Saco Bay Sea Farms, I understand that Saco Bay Sea Farms was the winner of a pretty difficult, pretty tough competition.
Yeah, that's Top Gun.
Yeah, the Maine Center,
Maine
for
Center
Entrepreneurs.
Entrepreneurship. Yep.
Top Gun business pitch.
Yeah, that was fun. I'm gonna give all the credit to my coworkers because they absolutely killed it. They worked on that for like 6 months.
6 months.
Yeah, it started in January and then they pitched it in May, so 5-6 months. They killed it. They absolutely killed it. It was a competition with like 25 other Maine startups all throughout the state. Like there's a cohort in Presque Isle and then the cohort in Portland, so like literally throughout the entire state.
Whoa.
They would meet a couple times a month. The goal of Top Gun was to help small businesses get more knowledge in an area that they're lacking in. So if somebody was lacking in marketing, they would get a sponsor basically, and the sponsor would help them. Our sponsor, we wanted help with the possibility of moving our farm offshore because our farm is already pretty good.
Yeah.
We eventually, after like year 4 or 5, we want to move this offshore, and we just wanted to know like the legality aspects of it and help with, budgeting because that's going to be expensive. So like the immediate farm is pretty perfect. So we just wanted some advice on how to move it offshore.
Okay.
And, yep. My 2 coworkers worked on this, and then they finally had the pitch off event. I think it was in May.
Who'd you go against? Like, what other startups did you have to go against?
Oh my gosh, what were some of them? Like the finalists, there was a designer breast pumping bag.
Whoa.
Wait,
Wait, like a Gucci breast pump bag?
Yeah.
Whoa.
Mm-hmm.
Gucci breast pump bag is crazy.
Yep. There was a candle bar. It was like a mobile candle bar where it was like a food truck, but you make candles.
Oh. Huh. Yeah, that's a unique concept too. I feel like that's something you'd see on like Shark Tank.
Yeah, 100%. There's a tin fish company where she wanted to tin fish.
Isn't that what they already? I'm sorry, I'm a little
I know,
confused. Isn't that what they already do?
I'm not trying to make fun of anybody, but yeah, I thought that too.
Okay, fair enough. Well, I'm sure that there's some
She did
innovation
great.
in there.
They
yeah,
actually
that's awesome.
they really did do great.
Okay.
They were like, it was me and like SBSF and them like were the two people that really were
Fair enough.
like the top ones.
So it took 6 months before you could even bring it to the pitch off.
Yeah. And then so all that work, and then they did the pitch off with a bunch of other, there was 6 total finalists.
Wow.
And it was local. It was right down the road at USM.
Oh, no kidding.
There was a group of panelists. They're all angel investors and like bank officers and loan officers.
That must have been so intimidating.
Yeah, they absolutely killed it.
Wow.
Yep.
I guess that just goes to show how much work has to be done in the background of situations. Like when you're trying to start something, be it a startup or a podcast, it just goes to show that like, even though what people ultimately see is the success at the top, that, you know, it takes so much more than that. It takes so much more work that you have to put in behind the scenes with zero return.
Yeah.
Was that the case for you?
Yeah. Time. Like, don't rush it. Don't rush it. It'll happen, but take your time with it, because if you rush it, then it comes out bad.
Sure. Absolutely.
You miss things, or things get done wrong.
Yep. Very, very true. So what was it like finding out you won?
Me and my 2 coworkers, Nick and Michael, that's their names. We were sitting in the front row, because that's just where we were watching all the other contesters, and the judges took like 30 minutes to make their decision. So
that must have been agonizing.
Yeah, we're all like waiting in the lobby, eating like little snacks, and I could hear like the audience, the people that were the audience, like, oh, I wonder who's gonna win. Like, oh, I think it's disqualified. I'm like, oh no, I think it's a tin fish. And it was, I could.
Oh, that must have been so stressful.
Yeah, I know. I was like, oh my god, guys, are we gonna win? I don't know. And it's funny because they were like, you know, if we don't win, it's fine. We got out of this what we needed. Like, it's fine. This was just like a bonus if we get the win.
You weren't really feeling that way.
I wasn't. I was like, yeah, I know they're gonna win. But the other 2, they were very humble about it.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah, they were like, you know, if we don't win this, it's fine. We got what we needed out of this. You know, we made our connections. We got the knowledge that we need to do for the offshore farm. It's fine. This is just a bonus. So finally, they call us into the auditorium to say it, and of course, she takes like 5 minutes to say it. She's like, oh, no, thank you to this person, and thank you to our sponsors, and no. And we're all like, okay, who is it? They're like, Saco Bay Sea Farms. And I look over to them, and Michael's like, oh! Like, his mouth is just like down to his feet. Like,
sure, like Jim Carrey in The Mask style, like,
yes.
boom.
Yeah. He was, oh my God, it was awesome. And they got up and started hugging each other, and they gave us like this massive check, you know, like you see in
like
the
those
movies.
Big lottery checks.
Yeah, they gave us one of those with the $25,000. So we all went up on the stage and took the pictures, and then everyone left. But it was so awesome.
That must have been super surreal.
Yeah, so much suspense, and then it all gets released at once, but like a really good feeling.
And you won.
And
oh
we
my
won.
God, that's super cool.
Yeah, it's awesome.
So I understand like this incredible startup, it's coming to life. There's all this to figure out. I understand that the Gulf of Maine, and presumably the entire Maine coast, is also like some of the most rapidly warming water
Indeed
in
it
the
is.
ocean. Like,
Yeah.
is your business prepared for rising water temperatures?
That's why we're trying to move offshore, 100%.
Okay.
So the critters that we grow, scallops, urchin, and kelp, they're all cold water. They like to be cold. Okay?
So they're sensitive to warming waters.
Sensitive. They get mad when it gets warm.
Oh.
Our farm is currently at like 35, 40 feet.
Mm-hmm.
It's like 36 feet at high tide, which is deep, but not deep enough to stay cold. So the purpose of the offshore farm would be to move them to deeper water. They'll be probably in like 60 to 80 feet of water, which it'll stay colder for a majority of the year. I mean,
Cool.
Of course, during the summer, it'll still be a little warmer, but it's below that thermocline. So they stay colder.
Are you going to dive it all year round?
Yeah.
Oh,
Michael wants me to, but
you
I don't
best
have
get that dry suit
I
out.
know, yeah, but guess how much a dry suit costs?
Way too much.
Yeah, exactly. So.
I'm very peeved about it. Trust me. That's so funny.
Yeah. Although I have heard I've dove pretty much like beginning of April and then end of November. So I dive most of the year. But from what I've been told, January is the best time to dive because it's like 50 feet of visibility.
I'm sure.
Yeah, but there's no critters. There's nothing to see, and that's what I want to do.
Cold.
So I don't care.
Yeah, it's just so cold.
It is cold.
Yeah. Oh man. Even when you're diving in like August, your like face hits the water and you're like, I regret everything right now. Why am I here?
Yeah. October is when it really starts to get cold. November is pretty bad.
Yeah.
I was teaching last November, and it's like a 30-minute dive. You do your skills and you get out of the water, and you dunk yourself in warm water.
Yep, and that's that. So.
Sorry, just adjusting.
Oh,
I move
yeah,
around
for
a
sure.
lot, sorry.
No, that's okay. So I feel like this is a really important, like the story of Saco Bay Sea Farms is a really important story to hear. And your story is an important one to share because as of right now, so many members of Gen Z are feeling kind of hopeless in terms of like starting a business or following their dreams. They're bogged down by so many different things, especially like the kind of the economic situation that we find ourselves in as Gen Z. So what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I get it. I mean, I'm Gen Z right in the middle. I'm 24 and I'm helping to start a business.
And you've gotten to a place where that's a very real possibility.
Yeah, and like also keep in mind Michael, who is the founder of Saco Bay Sea Farms. He is also 24.
Sure.
So, and my other coworker, Nick, he is 25.
Yeah.
We're very young to start a business. Very young to be an aquaculture business specifically. It's very daunting. But believe it or not, there's a lot of support. Like everybody's like, you are the future. You're gonna, I mean, they're like, you're gonna fix it. But and that can be tough sometimes because then you have a lot of pressure on you. And I can't speak for Michael, of course. But I can see that through him. You know, like we go to events and they'll say like, Michael, you are it. You are the future. And he's like, okay.
If you say so.
If you say so. Yeah.
Wow.
So here to support in that aspect.
Yep.
But starting a business is a lot of fun also.
That's a good way to look at it.
Yeah. I like having a small team. It's very intimate. So I know everything about the business. I didn't know anything about grant writing and behind the scenes stuff of a business, and now I do. And I feel like I have unlocked like a whole new subsect of information professionally, and that's been really awesome as well. Of course, I love like the science aspect of it. That's why I wanted to do it. But learning about marketing and all that other stuff has been a lot of fun.
Nice.
Like I said, it's daunting, and but you get a lot of support. You know, they understand that you're young and they understand that you're new at this, but they see the potential, especially if you have a good idea. Use your network, use your resources, and people will help you. That's
Absolutely.
like the biggest thing, especially like these programs like Top Gun. You know, it wasn't much money to put into it. It was like $500 to sign up. And then we got $25,000 in return. Yeah. So it's, if you have something going for you, if you have a good business and people are telling you like, this is a good business plan, go with it. Like really go with it, you know. But a big thing too, and Michael will say this too, have a good team, you know, have division of labor. I am not a business expert. That's what Nick is for. You know, I'm starting to learn about the aquaculture aspect of it. Like I have experience with it, but not as much as Michael. I have the biology aspect. Okay. So that's where it's diversified. You know, I can do outreach and education. That's where I'm going to be doing a lot of that stuff. Scuba diving. No one else can dive on the team. Yeah. So that division of labor and getting a good team is really crucial as well.
Absolutely. Have you run into any traditionalists? Like a lot of people are saying like, you are the future. You are the future. Have you run into any traditionalists who serve as a friction point in terms of like you entering this field? I hope the answer is no.
Well, there is adverse with aquaculture in general.
Interesting.
Yeah. People just don't know what it is. I mean, I was at a networking event like a week or two ago, and I was put in a group. 2 people were HR from Hannaford and another person worked at LOB. And I was like, oh, I work in aquaculture. And they're like, what does that mean? It's like, oh yeah, you don't know. That's fine.
You just don't even know.
That's fine. Let me tell you. I'm like, I grow scallops and urchins. And they're like, what do you mean? Like, it's on the land? I was like, no, it's in the water. Like, you're farming in the water? Yes, I am.
That's aquaculture.
That's aquaculture, yes. They don't know. And that's totally fine. That's like a big part of this, doing boat tours and teaching people.
Yep.
Sorry, farm tours. I always say boat tours. I don't know why.
Well, when you get the northern exposure, maybe you will be doing boat tours.
Oh, we will be doing farm tours.
Oh, man.
I don't know if I was supposed to say that, but I don't care. It's going to happen.
That's cool.
Yeah. So yeah, there's adverse with aquaculture, just people don't know. People really don't like finfish aquaculture, which is understandable because there is a lot of waste that goes into it. It can degrade the environment if finfish aquaculture is not done correctly. So people think that all aquaculture is like that, which shellfish aquaculture is not bad for the environment. So that's something to say. People don't like it, especially the visitors to Maine that live here for only a couple months of the year that have houses on the water. They don't like the view, meaning the cages on the surface, which is a big part of our farm because our cages are at the bottom of the ocean.
There you go.
So
yeah, so that negates that problem.
Don't even see them. People don't like the smell. I get that. But at the end of the day, that's just seafood for you.
I mean, seafood just smells.
It does. And like realistically, our farm is, you really can't smell it. Yeah, when I come off of the boat, I smell bad, but it's not like it's wafting onto shore when we're working.
But this is an interesting kind of clap back to the idea of like, oh, aquaculture is bad for the environment. Isn't dragging nets and catching a bunch of like byproduct and a bunch of species that you don't mean to catch in the first place also bad for the environment?
Yeah.
It's like when people complain about, this is something that I've seen a lot. People complain about like wind turbine farms and they're like, oh, I just hate the view. Oh, so you prefer the black billowing smoke views? Like, you know why nobody goes to
fuel.
Yeah, you know why nobody goes to Rumford these days?
Yeah.
Like, geez, I'm crow. I'm sorry, Rumford, I didn't mean it.
That's funny. Yeah, again, a lot of it is
it's not my fault. Y'all are gloom maxing over there. I don't know what's up.
No comment on Rumford, Maine. Yeah, again, a big part of it is just people don't know, and that's fine. Lack of knowledge is better than just hating on it for no reason. When you sit down and have these conversations with people, they're like, oh, actually, that makes sense. It's not so bad after all.
And that's where education and outreach comes in, and that's kind of your specialty.
Yeah, I mean, I have experience with that with Team Zostera 100%. And of course, I am an instructor. Duh, how could I forget? I'm a teacher. I just teach a different subject than most teachers do. So I love to educate people in the things that I'm passionate about because sometimes it'll just click and then it flips a switch and then they change their day-to-day basis maybe by just 1%. Mm-hmm. But then that 1% can change to 5% 5 years later. And then, it grows on and on and on and on. And that's how we get better as people and better for the world.
Yeah, no, and I also think that place-based education is going to be really valuable for you at Saco Bay Sea Farms.
Yeah.
That was something that I did a lot when I worked for the AMC. I used to live on, I used to live on Lakes of the Clouds. I used to live in Galehead, Lonesome Lake, and I'd often use those as backdrops for the environmental green principles because people feel a lot more connected to the things they're learning when they're there.
That's a huge part of the farm tours. You bring them on the boat onto the farm. We haul up the cages, show them what this is like, and then they get to taste it.
That's super cool.
Yeah, you get to eat. You get to pick what scallop you want to eat, and you can eat it. And then they go home with a bag of scallops, and they're like, "Oh my gosh, I'll never forget that."
Yeah, and it will change their fundamental ideas of where their seafood comes from.
Yeah, and I love that we're so close to Portland because Portland gets a lot of tourists.
Absolutely.
There are some people that have never seen the ocean before, and then they come on a boat and they get to know where their seafood comes from. That's awesome. That's life-changing.
Absolutely.
That's amazing. So it's going to be great.
It's
really
absolutely
is.
Going to be great.
Yeah.
So going into like Gen Z and Gen Z starting in business, because I think this is a very unique thing.
Yeah, we kind of went around that.
Yeah, that's totally fair.
It's a hard question to answer.
Right? Because it's not happening all that often.
It's not.
Right? Like Gen Z is kind of in a place where they want to assume some sort of mantle. They want to get their shot. but it just feels so out of reach for so many people. So what's something that, like, being Gen Z, starting this incredible startup, the world is your oyster.
Oh.
I said it. I said this stupid thing. What is something you're still actively uncertain about?
Oh my gosh. What am I still uncertain about? The business is perfect. Nothing. No.
Oh, man. There we go. That's it. Thanks. See y'all later.
I mean, obviously the economy changes. People could think scallops are too expensive to buy. And
Yikes.
then done. No more.
And then there that goes.
The entire thing crumbles. A, we also work in, B, we work in the environment. If the ocean really does get that warm, you can't even grow them.
Right.
Like there's totally fails here that we can't do anything about.
Yeah. I guess it's, and that's really kind of a scary thought, and that's definitely an unnerving thought, but it's also not worth exuding too much of your mental energy on, because it's so out of your control.
And that's a big part of trying to start a business too. Yeah, I can sit here and list off 15 things that could fail about Saco Bay Sea Farms, but at the end of the day, you have to have a positive mindset to keep it going. Otherwise, it will just fail. I mean, Michael could just wake up one day and be like, "Yep, it's not going to work. We're done." Okay.
Yeah.
100%. You know, you could have a really bad day and then not want to do the work. And then one other person's like, yeah, because of this, you're going to fail. And then, yeah, you're done.
It just becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy.
Yeah. So it's tough to sometimes stay like that and finding those things that could make it fail. But you have to stay positive to keep it going, especially if you're passionate.
Absolutely.
I work with a really good group of passionate people, and that's also really important.
And you've always had incredible ambition. You've always had incredible passion, and it's gotten you to this point.
Yeah.
How do you keep that ambitious spirit when things got difficult? Because things never stay perfect the whole time.
They don't. And I'm a chronic optimist, which is a downfall.
Is it though?
Yeah, it is sometimes.
These days, I really don't think so.
I'm too much of an optimist, which is a good thing and a bad thing, because it keeps me going. But then when a bad thing does happen, it sucks, because you get so passionate and so deep into it. And then if it doesn't work, then that's really sad, and that can hurt a lot.
Is it hard for you to pivot, do you feel?
It depends. I mean, I went to school to be a vet, and now I'm a scuba diver. So
I guess, yeah. But like when you get super...
But emotionally pivot?
Yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Fair enough.
Yeah, especially like if this does fail, I will be so sad. You know, I've spent so much time and effort and like mental effort too, keeping up with this, and yeah, I'd be devastated, in all honesty.
And what happens if it succeeds and you change the face of aquaculture?
Oh my God, I will have a full-time job that can last me decades.
Wouldn't that be awesome?
And I get to educate people and feed people healthy food.
Which is such a rarity these days. Like, especially with seafood. God, we're seeing like seafood is still some of the healthier food you can purchase, but oh my gosh, it's like you don't know where your food comes from.
You don't know where your food's coming from. Yeah, people get really scared of seafood. I get it. I do too sometimes.
Oh yeah.
Like I will read the package like over and over. Like I when I go to Hanford's and buy my food, like I know exactly which ones to buy because I know where it's coming from.
Fair enough.
I get it. I am the problem too. So I can empathize with people, especially that aren't as knowledgeable,
Absolutely.
Again, like these people that are in landlocked states, they might not have ever had a scallop before. And now I'm like, here's a raw one on a boat in the ocean.
We just pulled that up from like
we just pulled it out from the mud.
Like right there.
Yeah, let me clean it for you and you can eat it. I promise it's healthy.
Super cool.
So to educate people about that, but then also just about the environment.
That's an incredible place to be.
Yeah, I love talking about the earth and the inhabitants of the earth and how I can try and make it better and educate you to make it better too.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So do you think that Gen Z is actively redefining success, or are we just rejecting old definitions that we don't align with?
Oh my gosh, I have no idea. I think definitely rejecting old definitions is a big part of it. It's actually funny you say that. I was listening to NPR a couple months ago, and they were talking about how there's a rise in mental health days, which they first kind of spun it off as a bad thing, but then they were talking about how we know our limit and we know how to not burn ourselves out, and we know how to sustain.
As in Gen Z.
Yes.
Yeah.
So while 30 years ago, they might have taken mental health days as a bad thing, now we're taking that as you know how to work sustainably, and you know how to not burn yourself out, so you can work longer and better in the future. That's great. Go take your mental health day. Of course, people can abuse that. They can abuse anything.
Oh, I mean, people can abuse sick days too.
Yeah.
Like, people can abuse, Yeah, absolutely. And I think that it's interesting, right? Because there's a lot floating around about like a 4-day work week.
Yeah.
I think that's an interesting thing that's starting to pop up. Now, I work in a place where a 4-day work week's like, what? That's not happening, right? But I think that would be really interesting to see how that changes the trajectory of labor in the United States.
Yeah. I worked a job that was 4-day work week. It was 4/10s. I didn't mind it. I remember like on the last day though, I was getting burnt out, but then you'd have 3 days to rest.
Oh, that's
I'd
awesome.
go do whatever I wanted.
Absolutely.
And that would leave time for like appointments to like doctors, dentists, you know, other stuff like that. But then also to like have fun, you know?
Yeah.
So I think we are redefining old terms in the benefit of us in the future.
It's very interesting to see the cultural divide between generations. It's very interesting because like you're seeing the zeitgeist of labor rapidly change. And I think that it's interesting because I think that it changed pretty significantly after COVID, right? I think COVID was like a huge
it's like a reset almost.
A huge reset on like what it means to be an employee, right? And you see like the consistent situations where like Gen Z's like, well, I don't really want my employer to own me, right? So we're seeing Gen Z kind of actively rebelling against the traditionalist mindset of like work no matter what.
Yeah.
And that's going to produce some really interesting consequences, especially as Gen Z kind of frequents the workforce and kind of boomers and baby boomers and Gen X kind of start to leave the workforce.
Yeah.
Gen Z taking over is going to be very interesting to see how industries change.
Yeah, I'm excited to see it too. And I have experienced that some of my other employers were older folk, and it was work until you can't anymore.
Absolutely.
That's awful, especially in an aquaculture mindset. You know, you're out working in hot days, you know, not great seas all the time.
Yep.
Keep in mind, like, it's hot. Okay, now add 3-foot seas, which you shouldn't be working in, but we did sometimes.
Sure.
You're lifting 200-pound objects out of the water, and then you smell bad, and you have minimal breaks.
That's miserable.
It was. Yes.
And you're not going to have a good outlook on life, and you're not going to be able to sustain that for very long.
Yeah. So it's that older mindset of just work no matter what. No. Go home, realign yourself, and come back in a better day.
You got it. And that's the cool thing about Saco Bay Sea Farms is you're entirely a Gen Z company.
100%.
So it'll be interesting to see what that ultimately turns into. Super cool.
Yep. Gen Z and local too.
Gen Z, local.
I'm the only one that wasn't born in Maine.
I'm surprised it's oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, of the two.
Okay. I mean, of the
yeah.
Of the three of you,
33% of the company wasn't.
There's 3 of you.
Yeah.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
That's so funny. Yeah, no, and that's really cool. Do you have any interest in becoming like a certified B corporation?
Can you define that for me? Oh, that's like an environmental conscious company,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. Hold on. Let me pull up the actual definition for it. This is the second time on Between the Piers I've looked something up. The last time was was with Cindy McInnes. I was talking about Whale Fall, the movie. Which, by the way, have you heard of it?
No.
Oh man.
I don't know movies. Sorry.
No, that's okay. No, Whale Fall is it's a movie. I was talking about it with a guest a couple of weeks ago, and basically it's a movie about this guy who like gets into an accident, gets accidentally swallowed by a sperm whale.
No way.
Yeah, and
it's like the whole Moby Dick thing.
Yeah, kind of like the whole Jonah and the whale thing.
Yeah.
But it's based on a novel, and the trailer is just so anxiety producing. But as a scuba diver, I was watching it, and I'm like, you're telling me he was breathing slowly and deeply and not holding his breath the entire time he's getting thrown around by the sperm whale?
Yeah, exactly. I'll have to watch that.
Yeah, watch the trailer at least.
Okay.
Maybe not the movie. The movie's going to be terrifying. So, Certified B Corporation is a for-profit company verified by the nonprofit B Lab to meet the highest standard of social and environmental performance, accountability, and transparency. They balance profit and purpose, committing to benefiting all stakeholders, including workers, communities, and the planet. This just sounds like Saco Bay Sea Farms.
Yeah, I mean,
this
we are.
This is where you're
certified.
going.
Yeah, we are. I'm gonna talk to Michael about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's just you.
We are B Corp. We're just not certified.
Okay. Well, yeah. You should definitely.
We are in the benefit of humans and the environment. We are regenerative.
Yep.
Not restorative.
Yep.
Because we have people in mind. Humans aren't going away. They're just not. So if we can create a business model that is sustainable while aiding the earth, while aiding humans, that's what that is.
Yeah, you
That's
should
what we
definitely
are.
you should definitely chat about being a B corporation.
Yeah.
It's like you basically
We
already
are. We're just not certified. Yeah.
There you go. Yeah, absolutely. So say there's a 20-year-old with an incredibly innovative idea for changing an industry, not too far off from Saco Bay Sea Farms.
Mm-hmm.
Say they want to chase this dream. They really want to chase this dream, but they feel weighted down by their age. They don't think people are going to take them seriously.
Oh, yeah.
Student
Okay.
debt.
Stop. Yeah, I've dealt with that too. Just do it. Just do it. It sucks to feel that way, but if you gotta be mature. That's for sure. You have to, make yourself presentable. That's a big thing. Okay, like we were talking about the older generation. They really care about appearance. So, cover those tattoos, cover those piercings. I am loaded with tattoos. You can see me. But when I'm at these events, I am covered up. I hate to do it, but that's what you gotta do. You gotta look the piece too. Okay. If you're trying to do this, you gotta make some sacrifices. Okay. But just be passionate, show up is a big one too. Do these events, do these things that you're gonna do, and then just be yourself. I know it sounds cliche and stupid, but it's true. Michael is Michael. He will never be anybody else. And everyone loves Michael for that. And that's how you get far. Be yourself, show up. And I know it sounds contradicting, so I'm like, cover your tattoos. But these are the people that are going to help fund you. So at the end of the day, money comes into it. Be professional, be mature, but show your passion as well. That can be hard to balance, but there is a perfect mix of it, and that's where you can go far.
Very nice.
Yeah. Don't let people scare you because you're young.
And don't let the world scare you.
Yeah. If anything, that means you have a better chance because you're going to live longer.
Well, that's a way to put it.
Yeah.
That's really funny.
People would rather invest in a 20-year-old because they have a longer time to kind of mess around with it
and figure it out.
Yeah, versus like a 60-year-old who's just going to retire in 10 years.
Absolutely. Even if
think about it like that.
Even if the 60-year-old has more experience, that's the thing, is the 20-year-old has more time. And that's the one thing we don't get back, right?
Yeah. I mean, the experience definitely helps, but at the end of the day, they're going to want to help you out too.
For sure. I have a manager who says, have so much fun it's later than you think. And I hear that and I'm like, dude. And it just goes to show that even if you're young and you're in this situation where you want to grow this business and take a shot at something in the world, compared to folks who have been around the block more, you have time. Yeah. You have time to figure it out. You have time to make mistakes. You have time to fix things. You have time to look at things through a different lens than the previous generations have.
And also, if it's not working out, maybe you're just not looking at the right audience or talking about it to the right audience.
Absolutely.
Someone's going to help you. Maybe just look in a different avenue.
Absolutely.
That's a big thing too.
So ending this off, what do you want Gen Z to do differently after hearing your story and the story of Saco Bay Sea Farms?
Oh my gosh, I have no idea. Just do it.
Just go for it?
Just go for it. At the end of the day, it could fail, but at the end of the day, it could be really successful. So having that neutral mindset is really helpful because, the negatives can weigh you down, but just go for it. Network, find that avenue, like I just said, that's going to support you.
Find those people. Find that community.
Find the community.
Community is a big thing that we keep coming back to here on Between the Piers.
Especially with startups.
Yeah.
Community is huge.
Absolutely.
I learned that. That was new to me because I grew up in Massachusetts and there's not much community in Massachusetts.
For sure.
But in Maine, Oh my
In
God.
the Portland area?
Portland area community is huge. And I didn't understand that. And I'm still learning that. So community is huge. You know, use your resources, network, become comfortable with networking. That's how I found all of my current positions.
Yep.
I did not use ZipRecruiter, all the other stupid ones.
Yep.
They don't work. Network. Show up.
Networking works.
Show up. Yes.
Networking works. ZipRecruiter. The jobs you're going to get on ZipRecruiter, the jobs you're going to get there are not jobs you want.
They're bad. They're corporate jobs.
I mean, it's also just like, it's not what you really want, you got to go out and get. Like, it's not going to get handed to you on a silver platter on ZipRecruiter.
Yeah. 100%.
Yeah.
Network, show up, be yourself, but be professional too.
Yep.
You know?
Right on. So I like to end my podcasts with a bit of a funny question, and I thought yours was really, really funny. So, like, when you're working at Saco Bay Sea Farms, like, on a daily basis, how often are you just thinking to yourself, oh my God, I cannot believe my entire livelihood depends on whether or not these urchins are having a good week?
Yeah. Does 100%.
Yeah, like, how many times have you said that to yourself where you're like, oh my God, these urchins better like get their shit straight.
Yeah, they better be eating.
They better be
eating. They better be enjoying what they're eating.
That's really funny.
They better
though.
be enjoying those tunicates.
Tunicates. So
Botuloides.
That just sounds like botulism. That's the problem. It just sounds like botulism.
Oh.
Botulism's so gross. That's really interesting though. I can't get away from the fact emotionally that you were like, yeah, tunicates and humans are pretty similar. They have a spinal cord and, like, you know, they have a mouth and they have an expelliarmus
They have
too.
an inlet and an outlet siphon. And they don't have a true spinal cord. It's technically a notochord.
Okay, so I took
we don't have to go into it.
I took evolutionary biology here. I know that ultimately became the spinal cord.
They're the closest related invertebrate to humans.
I hate that so much.
And, like, the greater scheme things, like, yeah, chimps are our, like, brothers, but tunicates are like our cousin.
They're like the weird cousin at the party, or like
they're the weird cousin at the party where you're like, oh, we're related, and you're like, yeah, bro, we're related. You're like, oh, nice to meet you.
If tunicates were your uncle, they'd be the "Where's my hug, uncle?" Dude.
Yes,
100%.
yes, yeah. Give you like a noogie.
Oh my God, you're looking good, sport.
Yep. That's a tunicate.
I hate tunicates. I don't actually. Okay, yeah, I do hate tunicates. I just learned what tunicates were like a few minutes ago. I hate tunicates. So, Savanna, we talked about a lot of things. We talked about your diving.
Yep.
We talked about Saco Bay Sea Farms, and we talked about Gen Z the business world.
In the business world.
It's gonna be interesting, and I'm so excited to see where Saco Bay Sea Farms goes.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Yeah, once we get the boat, you gotta come on and see the farm.
I'd definitely like to do that for sure.
Yeah, sorry for the people listening. There's no proper website for us yet.
Not yet,
No.
but it is under development. So check back in soon, and Saco Bay Sea Farms will have a fully developed website.
Yeah, give us like a month.
Right on.
I'm gonna get them to get going on it. Like, guys, you need to get this going.
Sweet.
On a podcast now.
Do you like need a website developer?
No, we have it all set up. It just needs to actually be published.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've done a couple of websites, so I'm always trying to assist people with building websites.
Oh, what websites have you done?
This is a controversial thing. You know Mid-Coast Dive Instruction?
Yes.
I've done their website.
Really?
That website that was built there, that was entirely me.
Okay, I'll take a look at it.
You really should. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's actually my finest work, if I do say so myself.
Yeah.
So I did that one, and then I got a couple other potential websites I'm going to be focused on. I'm making a website for my mother's sea glass company.
Cool.
That's currently, I'm still learning design.com. Their UI is a pain. Anyways.
Yeah, I don't know what company they're going through. I only know how to use Squarespace.
Oh, Squarespace is the best.
Yeah, and I'm like super amateur at Squarespace.
Oh,
so
I'm
I
a
don't know anything
Squarespace
about-
ninja, dude. Oh my God, I love Squarespace. I can make a Picasso on Squarespace. Anyways, before I get too into self-promoting my website design, Savanna,
Yeah.
thank you so much for being on Between the Piers. This has been super awesome, and I'm so excited to see where Saco Bay Sea Farms ends up going.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure to talk about the stuff that I'm part of. And
Yeah,
to talk to you.
absolutely, and except tunicates. We're not talking about tunicates.
Except tunicates.
That was not pleasant to talk
Yeah.
about. Anyways, anybody, if oh my God. Okay. Everybody, thank you so much for listening. If you need seafood, you know where to go next. Have a fantastic evening, everybody. And as always, stay weird, Portland